really excited about this one because, what you just said, Steve, you just summed up the real thing is this was the one product to replace, your old workout formula, which we haven't had for a long time. And the OxyG Supercell story, which for anyone who's been around BodyWise a long time, like some of us have, those formulas were closely related enough that, people often use them for overlapping purposes and things like that. So we've had conversations on and off for years about, could we combine these or could we change them or could we improve them? And I think we finally just really landed on the right solution and exciting solution. And I just really love what we've done here. So I'm excited to talk about it, but I want to just pick up with what Bill Farley said for a minute and, talk about how, I think, Bill, what you just said about, increasing focus, for you personally, as you get older on exercise and physical self-care and things like that. But look, that is an age independent thing, right? I can tell you right now that the latest report on aging in America was just released and it's terrible. So everybody on this call, everybody who's part of BodyWise, you have an opportunity to do much better than most of the country is doing. And, where we are falling down, there are some institutional places with healthcare and other things where we're falling down, but most of where we're falling down is with taking care of ourselves. Most of where we are falling behind is in our ability to invest in a good diet and invest in exercise and invest in good, healthy relationships. So, people sometimes ask me what I like about multi-level marketing. And I'm like, that's it. That's all of it together. It's healthy relationships, right? It's relational business. It's encouragement for people to live better, healthier lifestyles. And we can support it with awesome product. That is the ticket. We all need to be doing it. So exercise, I can give a plug for this that the FDA won't even care about. Exercise is the best anti-aging drug that there is. There is no better anti-aging drug. It benefits your cognitive function, your cardiovascular function, your physical health and performance, mental health and well-being. There was literally a study that just came out on using pre-exercise in patients with tumors of the esophagus. They showed that if they engaged them in an exercise program before chemotherapy, their tumors shrunk and regressed. Okay, so let's talk about how we keep ourselves exercising, okay? And nutrition is part of that. So Supercell Sport, let's get into this and talk about some fun new ingredients that some of which you are familiar with and some of which you aren't. So I'm going to start with what's new in here. And the two really important new ingredients are KSM-66 Ashwagandha, which we've talked about a little bit before. But I'm going to talk about it really specifically here in terms of the data on physical health and performance and athletic recovery. And then elevATP, which is a really unique, well-studied combination ingredient that I'll talk about next. So let's start with ashwagandha. Ashwagandha, also just coming out of the Natural Products Expo a few weeks ago, ashwagandha is like the exploding star of an ingredient. And I'm so glad that we got on that boat before the explosion happened. So we are already well, in with the best quality ashwagandha in the world. KSM-66, I cannot say enough about the people who run this company, about the way that they go about making their ingredient and about the science that they put into it. There are 24 double-blind placebo-controlled studies in humans on this ingredient in this product. That is an unheard of thing in the world of natural products. It is a branded full spectrum extract. It is extracted with a totally chemical-free process. So it's just as natural gets, and with a bunch of science to tell us what this does in modern times. So in terms of the function for KSM-66 in this product, because we could do a whole talk just on this ingredient, it has been clinically proven to do the following: to help the body build new energy, to improve muscle function, and to increase focus during exercise very specifically. So to, especially for athletes where they may need the ability to kind of hone their attention onto what they're doing. I even know for myself, I'm a skier, right? I mean, if I lose focus, I'm going to end up in a, on the side of a mountain or in a tree well or something like that. So, even just those of us who are everyday athletes, maintaining that focus is really important. With respect to energy, KSM-66 has been shown to increase cardiorespiratory function and endurance and cardiorespiratory stamina. So, Bill, that's probably some of the things that you're starting to experience as you use this more over time, is that you feel like your cardiovascular system can do a better job of keeping up with you physically as you're increasing your performance. With muscle function, KSM-66 has been shown to improve muscle strength, muscle size, and also, importantly, on the other side, accelerate muscle recovery after exercise. So, wow, that's just kind of a package by itself. And then again, this area of concentration and focus during exercise. So really helping people to kind of be more in that moment and more focused on their task. That's good, not just for, professional athletes, but for all of us who are engaged in a physical activity that requires our sort of attention and focus. So it's not a stimulant. So there's nothing in here that is going to give you jitters or make you anxious. In fact, over time, ashwagandha actually moderates our cortisol levels. So it actually is, putting us into a state of feeling less stressed, which is why it has other wonderful benefits just, for overall health, which we've talked about on past calls. So second fun new ingredient. I love this. I love this formula, you guys. elevATP is actually an ingredient that I've been hoping to put in a product for a really long time, in part because, again, another ingredient with amazing data. I was actually on a panel of judges that gave an award to this ingredient back in 2018 because their science was so amazing and they were able to deliver this incredible, set of benefits with a really small dose. That's really unusual. I mean, so you'll see in here we have 150 milligrams, which is almost nothing. If you look at the volume of it, that's a really small amount of stuff for everything this material can do. So this material is actually two ingredients put together. One part of it is something called ancient peat, which is actually fossilized plant material that contains, if you just look at that by itself, around 70 different essential elements. It's particularly rich in magnesium, nitrogen, oxygen, and sulfur, which are all the sort of elements that contribute to the production of energy in your cells. So ATP being kind of our energy currency within the cells, also contributing to the function of NAD, which is a molecule that's involved not only in cellular energy, but cellular aging. So very cool just by itself, but that's only half the ingredient. The other half is a set of polyphenols that particularly come from apples that have synergistic antioxidant effects with the peat material. So what is this material studied to do? It's a great list of things. This is from the clinical human data, supporting increased lean muscle and strength, promotes increased power output and training volume for people doing weight training and other kinds of power sort of types of exercise, helps reduce performance decrements associated with overreaching. So what that really means is that it helps, when people are kind of pushing the limits of what they can do, it helps them to really sort of be able to push further against what might be their, the normal limits that you would come up against in exercise. So where I think about that is for people who are cycling, they reach that point where it's another mile till I got home, and it helps people push through those aspects of physical training when they're working out. Overall improvements in athletic performance and body composition, and in terms of what it's doing inside the body, increasing those cellular levels of mitochondrial ATP. So really working within the engines of your cells to actually increase the production of your own fuel. Pretty cool stuff right there. So as I said, we could just have those two things, but that's not all. You get more in here. Without kind of burdening everyone in details, a lot of the other things that are in here are nutrients that you've seen before, but I'm going to give you a little insight into how they're working specifically in this Supercell Sport formula. So vitamin B5, that's pantethine or pantothenic acid. It is part of our B complex. So all of our B vitamins are involved in energy production. You can think of every B vitamin that you take in a multivitamin or in this formula or anywhere else is somehow involved in taking energy from food. So energy from what you put in your mouth and transforming it into the energy that your cells can use. Okay. But B5 has some fairly specific benefits for exercise and for sport. Particularly, it's been studied to help for recovery, especially in situations of overtraining. So we've all been there, like overtraining can even just be when you just lifted that extra little bit of heavy weight at the gym, or, you walked that extra mile, or, biked that extra little bit. So that recovery aspect, again, we have that benefit, both from the KSM-66 and also from a nutrient, which is vitamin B5. It aids the body with recovering from the stress of training. And in this sense, stress means two things for B5. So it helps with both the emotional aspects of stress. So a little bit similar to, again, what we talked about with KSM-66, but also for the recovery from physical aspects of stress. So this is an overall sort of stress modulator in the way that we're using it in this formula. Enhances the resistance of the body against infections. So are there side effects of exercise? Yes, you can get sore, you could hurt yourself. Those are some of the ones. But when people are really training hard, and I know that some of you are, so for those people who are doing more training, there is a possibility that people can get into a place where that starts to change immune function. And B5 is one of the nutrients that will help the body stay out of a situation where it can become immune challenged from overexercise. So one of the important nutrients for that, and helping the body fight against infection. And supports the building of muscle by contributing to the body's normal ability to produce its own steroid hormones. So in this case, we're not talking about the kinds of steroids that, those big guys with juiced up muscles or illegally injecting. Your body actually makes its own steroids. Some of those are things like DHEA and testosterone and estrogen and cortisol. And all of our internal hormones that we make are involved in our ability to build and maintain tissue, muscle, bone, connective tissue, all of those things. So B5 is involved in what we call steroidogenesis, or the construction of new hormones that we make ourselves. So great benefits from a cool nutrient that, you knew some of the other things that it did. We have magnesium in this formula. Magnesium is a direct contributor to the production of cellular energy. So it works in the production of ATP. So really important for muscle function, also for the muscle of your heart, so for cardiovascular muscle function. And the other side of magnesium is, again, recovery. So part of what magnesium can do is give the signal to your muscles to relax when it's time for them to relax. So if you don't have enough magnesium on board, you tend towards cramping and having it be more difficult for your muscles to actually relax when you want them to. We also have potassium in this product. I think most people know potassium is an important mineral electrolyte, right? So as you work out, you actually sweat out some potassium. So you always want to make sure that you're replacing some potassium. It's very important for muscle recovery. Also contributes to the way that your muscles utilize carbohydrate as energy. So if you don't have enough potassium on board, your body's not going to use its energy as efficiently when you're working out and exercising. We have a couple antioxidant nutrients in here, selenium as well as glutathione, very important for recovery. The more you're exercising, the more free radicals you're making. So you need to have enough extra antioxidants on board there to kind of counter that process. So it's really important for recovery, but also just overall maintaining good cellular health as you're exercising. 3 more. Ornithine alpha-ketoglutarate. That's a really big mouthful. We sometimes call this ornithine AKG for short, because saying alpha-ketoglutarate is a big mouthful. This is actually a combination of 2 amino acids, so ornithine and ketoglutarate acid. Together, they really work to promote muscle repair as well as production of muscle energy. And they've been studied specifically, this nutrient complex has been studied specifically strength training. So for people actively working to build new muscle, it seems to contribute benefit to that process. Now, milk thistle, interesting, right? We think of that for the liver, right? Great nutrient for liver health, but also again works as an antioxidant. And there's some very interesting data that started coming out around, I don't know, 2016, 2017 that showed that with exercise, so together with exercise, milk thistle seems to contribute to the ability to burn fat with exercise. So really nice little addition here. So get a little extra fat burning that again isn't coming from using a stimulant like caffeine. So we can get that benefit from a really nice safe herb like milk thistle. And finally, last but not least, chlorophyll. I love chlorophyll. You know, this is the stuff that makes plants green, right? And it's funny that like, you'll now see, I don't know who goes to sporting events, but I get out to some sporting events. And like a few years ago, you started suddenly seeing like chlorophyll water show up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here, suddenly people are like starting to recognize the benefits of, you see people walking around with green tinted water. You know, it's like, oh, they're putting chlorophyll in there. That's great. We've it as an ingredient in body wise for a long time. So chlorophyll is really cool. This is a molecule in plants that is basically the plant equivalent of the hemoglobin in your blood, right? So where in your body, hemoglobin carries an iron molecule and that's what makes it red. In plants, it carries a magnesium molecule and it's green. It's cool, right? So it's almost like giving yourself a little, you know, holistically speaking, kind of giving yourself a little blood boost, although, you know, little plant blood, if you think about it that way, right? But it does help bring more oxygenation to your tissues in a very similar fashion, provides a lot of just nice extra plant nutrition and additional support for recovery. So exciting formula. I know I'm going to get the first question I'm going to get from people is when should I take this and how should I use it? Do I need to take it right before exercise? Should I take it right after exercise? So I'm going to just start by pre-answering that question. The best benefit of this product is taking it consistently each and every day along with your regular workout routine. That said, you know, there may be, because we do have some specific nutrition in here, particularly the minerals that aid with recovery, there may be some slight benefits in taking it after a workout. Additionally, because ashwagandha, which is such a magical herb, this plant, can help to promote restful sleep. There may be some people who get a little additional benefit by actually just taking this at night before they go to bed. So those are the ways that I would encourage. If you really want to just, you know, try one time a day, I would say take this at bedtime actually rather than before exercise, because you're going to start that process of recovery. And overall, the benefits of this product come from consistent use over time, not so much with direct timing.
You mentioned sulfur, and
Yeah.
I know that I'm not trying to be paranoid or anything, but is there a volume of sulfur in this that people should be concerned with that have a sensitivity to that, or are we good?
Oh, okay. So this is a vocabulary lesson, and we've done it before, but I'm going to do it again. So sulfur is a natural mineral that you are encountering all over the place all the time. So it gets confused sometimes with sulfa. Okay, we have Dave Mikas, he's a pharmacist. He can explain this even probably better than I can. But sulfa is a set of drugs. It's a class of drugs that people often have allergy to. It's actually a fairly common drug class that people can develop allergic reactions to. So sensitivity to sulfa is not the same as sensitivity to sulfur. So sulfur is really, you know, in all of your tissues, you're encountering it as a nutrient in all kinds of things that you eat all the time. And it's good for you. It's good for your connective tissue in particular. This is a great answer. This is from Mary Portillo. She asked, at what age can an athletic person start using this product? I think, Mary, you're probably asking how young could they be? That's probably more the question, because I'm going to say,
yes,
anybody, even, you know, as old as they want to be, can take this product. But in terms of how young, you know, we really formulate most of our products to be for adults, but there really isn't anything in this product that like a teenager couldn't safely take. There's no stimulants in here. There's nothing that, in fact, KSM-66, even for like youth athletes, is on the WADA safe list, even for youth athletes. So it's, something that I think that even, young people could safely take. I would, if you were looking at, somebody younger than a teenager, I would probably question why they would need it, because I remember when my boys were, in middle school, I didn't want them to have any more energy than they actually had. It was like, what can I do to rein that back? So
Yes, I have a question. It's Adrian Morrison.
Welcome, Adrian.
I just wondered, does this product increase your oxygen intake through your lungs at all?
So,
and if so, what sort of ingredient does it?
So cardiorespiratory function improvement is one of the things that has been directly studied with the ashwagandha. So it's been looked at mostly in terms of like human performance with exercise, of improving sort of overall sort of cardiovascular and respiratory function. So I think that probably is pretty close to what you're talking about, is it's kind of going to help your heart and your lungs to kind of perform at a higher level with exercise.
Because I so miss our workout formula, but I'm excited about this one because
you're going to have
sounds
to
amazing.
Give me the feedback on this. I think that if you were excited about the workout formula, this to me should give you a very good replacement for that product.
When I used the workout formula, I used to be able to teach classes back to back with no burnt out energy at all. It was amazing. I miss it because I used to teach back-to-back classes at times.
Well, I hope you will report something similar here. I really feel like we have.
Yeah.
I feel like we've kind of hit a home run. I feel like we kind of hit a home run on this formula. So I want to.
Awesome.
I want to hear that.
Well, I'm going to be back to teaching classes again, and I miss that energy.
I think you and others will find that this formula gives you the experience that you're looking for in terms of the effects that you came to expect from products like Oxy-G and workout formula.
Yeah.
And that's what my hope is that we're able to recreate that experience, even though we've lost some of those ingredients.
How much KM-66 is in this as far as per dose?
Yeah, this is 600 milligrams.
Awesome.
So
on
really,
target.
Yeah, it's a really nice solid dose. And for anyone who's really interested, visiting the KSM-66 website, they have all their clinical trial data there. It's a real wealth of information that you can look at and read, and, a rich story of how that product came about, in terms of the development, which is just a beautiful story anyway. But it's a pretty powerhouse ingredient, and the full 600 milligrams should be something that everyone experiences the benefit from.
Sure. Very good.
Yep.
Also, if I could just add 2 cents, the interview with the, what does he call himself, John Paul, the medicine hunter?
Oh, the medicine hunter. That's right. You had Chris Killam. I actually just saw Chris a couple weeks ago. So
well, he did a great interview with us, and it's on bodywiseinfo.com.
That's right. Go listen to Chris Killam.
Yeah.
The whole story of KSM-66. It's fabulous. And no one better to tell it than Chris. It's great.
It's fascinating information. You're right.
Yep.
Okay, and we have a question from Linda Hartman.
If you're not going to exercise because it's going to rain tomorrow, would you just take the product any time of the day, or earlier the better?
Honestly, the most important thing with this product is just consistent use, because with most of these ingredients, you get continued sort of a building benefit over time. So that's the most important thing. If I was going to suggest actually a specific time of day for people to take it, I would suggest in the evening, because there may be some additional benefit for recovery and sleep if it's taken in the evening. Increases sort of like energy and stamina and focus. So, but it's also not a stimulant. So it's really what we call an adaptogen, but it has real studies showing that because it helps to balance cortisol levels, which is elevated cortisol at night is one of the things that often gives people challenges with sleep and insomnia. It really does seem to improve quality of sleep. So, that just would be an extra benefit that you could tap into if you took it in the evening.